Lumi quickly ties her shoe near the wooden bed inside bedroom. Rio steps into the bedroom and looks at Lumi calmly, quietly. Lumi lifts the woven bag and shows it to Rio proudly. Rio picks up a wooden walking stick near the wall slowly. Lumi opens the bedroom door while Rio holds it steady, firmly. Rio steps onto the porch and points toward the hill outside. Lumi adjusts the bag strap on her shoulder and stands straight. Lumi and Rio walk across the wooden porch together toward stairs. Rio places one foot on the first stair and holds the railing. Lumi steps down behind Rio on the wooden stairs toward path. Rio stands on the dirt path and looks toward hill. Lumi steps beside Rio and tightens the woven bag strap. Rio walks forward along the narrow forest path slowly. Lumi follows Rio and watches the uneven ground carefully. Rio stops near a small wooden sign beside path. Lumi stands next to Rio and looks at sign. Rio points up toward the rising hill trail. Lumi nods and places one foot on hill path. Rio steps onto the hill path with firm posture. Lumi walks beside Rio as they begin the climb. Rio walks higher along the rocky hill path. Lumi follows carefully and lifts her foot over a stone. Rio stops near a narrow wooden bridge on slope. Lumi stands beside Rio and looks at bridge. Rio steps onto the narrow wooden bridge slowly. Lumi places one foot on the wooden bridge carefully. Rio holds the vine rope railing firmly. Lumi grips the rope railing and moves forward. Rio steps off the bridge onto flat ground. Lumi joins Rio as they reach small hill clearing. Lumi walks slowly into the wide hill clearing. Rio follows and looks around the open space. Lumi bends down and touches the soft grass. Rio stands near a tall rock at clearing center. Lumi walks toward Rio across the grass field. Rio places his walking stick against the tall rock. Lumi steps closer and looks up at the rock. Rio lifts one foot onto the tall rock edge. Lumi places her paw on the rock's surface. Rio stands steady as they prepare to climb. Rio pulls his body higher onto the tall rock. Lumi pushes herself up onto the rock slowly. Rio stands tall on the rock and looks ahead. Lumi stands beside Rio on the rock top. Rio raises one arm toward the distant jungle view. Lumi turns her head and watches the wide valley. Rio lowers his arm and bends his knees slightly. Lumi sits down carefully on the flat rock surface. Rio sits beside Lumi on the rock. Lumi and Rio sit together and look at Valley. Rio stands up from the tall rock slowly. Lumi rises from the rock and lifts her bag. Rio picks up his wooden walking stick. Lumi steps down carefully from the rock edge. Rio steps down onto the grass clearing. Lumi walks toward a shaded tree behind clearing. Rio follows Lumi toward the tall tree. Lumi stops near the tree trunk and looks up. Rio touches the wide tree trunk with his hand. Lumi and Rio stand together under tall tree shade. Lumi walks around the tall tree slowly. Rio follows and steps over a small root. Lumi finds a flat stone near the tree roots. Rio stands beside Lumi and looks at stone. Lumi sits down on the flat stone carefully. Rio sits on the grass near Lumi. Rio takes out a small leaf bottle. Rio and Lumi sit together under tree shade. Rio stands up under the tall tree slowly. Lumi closes the woven bag and holds it. Rio picks up his wooden walking stick. Lumi steps away from the tree shade. Rio walks across the grassy clearing calmly. Lumi follows Rio toward the narrow hill path. Rio steps carefully onto the wooden bridge. Lumi crosses the bridge behind Rio slowly. Rio walks down the hill path toward home. Lumi and Rio reach the treehouse and stand together.